distinguished participants on this call, I welcome you to webinar for retirees. My name is Bukola Durodola, Director of Post Service Department, Public Service Office, Office of the Head of Service. I'll be your host this morning. This morning, we are going to be talking about stress management and mental well-being. As we have this conversation, we are going to be looking at strategies to manage our stress, self-care, and we are also going to learn how to maintain positive mindset. This morning, we have Dr. Odumuye Demilade as our facilitator for today. Thank you once again for joining us. The head of service and the permanent secretary are both unavoidably absent this morning, attending to some other states' matters. Before we dive right into this topic, I'm going to do a brief introduction of our facilitator this morning. Like I said earlier, she is Dr. Odumuye Demilade, medical doctor passionate about health, beauty, and wellness. She is a medical graduate from Olabisi Onabanjo University with work experience spanning through the public and private sector, including Gbagada and Alimosho General Hospitals. Presently, she works at Reddington Hospital. She is an expert in beauty industry with keen interest in dermatology care and embraces holistic health, including mental health. Her professional priorities focus on disease prevention to help individuals lead better lives and have good quality life. She enjoys cooking at her leisure. So, Dr. Demilade, you have the floor. You can go ahead with your presentation.
Can we hear me? Good morning.
You are audible. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Everyone is muted, so you only be hearing my voice.
Okay, that's fine. So I want to appreciate everyone for being on this call. I want to thank you for the opportunity given me to be able to do this morning. I do not take it for granted. I've been introduced. My name is Dr. Odumuye Demilade, and the little bio profile has been read out. So I will be talking on stress management and mental well-being this morning. If at any point I'm not audible or something, please, you can drop in the group chat so that I will be able to go over whatever I'm saying now. Okay. I hope we can see the screen, please. Yeah, I would like to use the slideshow. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, so I can see it. Before you go ahead, I would like to recognize all the retired permanent secretaries on the call. You are welcome this morning. God bless you. And sir, go ahead, please.
Thank you, and Maz. for joining the call. Thank you very much. So stress management and mental well-being. So why are we talking about this? I feel like this topic cuts across every individual, whatever age range we belong to, whatever walks of life, wherever we are working, whatever sector we are working in, be it the public sector, the health sector, children can be stressed. So that is why we want to impact this knowledge today. So everyone can find a means to, a healthy life. I'm very passionate about holistic health. I'm very passionate about preventive health because I believe that if you can prevent certain illnesses, it is cost effective, then it can reduce, the comorbidities that come with these conditions. Yes, so I'll be moving on. So what is stress management? Let's focus on that first. And the aspects of stress management. So in this particular part of the presentation, we're going to be looking at what causes stress for us. Is there good stress? Is there bad stress? And what are the things we can do to manage stress as much as we can? Okay, so the World Health Organization, WHO, defines stress as a state of worry or mental tension, caused by a difficult situation. So it might be a short-term thing, it might be a long-term thing, but when there's a state of worry, such that it can cause mental tension, cause people to be anxious, cause people to be angry, cause people to, feel like they're having a nervous breakdown, that is a form of stress. So any situation can pose as a difficult situation. Even positive life events might also pose as a difficult situation. And the way we respond to it might let us know in retrospect whether we were stressed or not. The Webster Dictionary defines stress as a physical, chemical, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension that might be a factor in causing diseases. What this means is the stressor.
You are audible, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry for the network glitch. I was trying to say that the Webster definition of stress, that sometimes, the effect can be seen on the body or one's mind, such that in the end, if it is prolonged, if something is not done to control this stress, it can cause diseases in the long run. So it depends on how long we're exposed to the stress or how great the force of the stress is versus our coping mechanism to overcome such stress. That's in the pace of causing diseases. So stress can also be defined as a state of severe psychological and physiological strain or tension that can lead to ill health if prolonged. I just said that. So there are two basic things that are involved in stress. There is a stressor or several stressors. They can be happening at the same time. One factor or several factors coexisting together, and there's the reaction. So the stressor is the agent or factor that causes stress. It could be a stimulus, it could be an event, it could even be certain individuals or certain environments we find ourselves that can provoke a stress response in an individual. And what do we call the stress response? That's like somebody's reaction. How do we respond to the stressor that is given to us? Or how do we respond to, whatever situation throws stress at us? Now, these things are impacted by several factors, how we can respond. Sometimes people don't have the knowledge of how to overcome stress. Other times, their belief system can come in place to, obstruct or affect the knowledge they have in such a way that even if they know what to do and you don't believe it, it might not work, or they might not believe that it's going to work. Other people's interpretation of an event can also affect one's stress response. Let's say, for example, somebody's boss gives you a task at work to do, and for some reason you are not on good terms with your boss. If you interpret this task as an opportunity for you to grow and improve yourself in your workplace, then you would approach this task with a positive mindset. Oh, I want to do my best so that my boss can, know that I'm growing, know that I'm getting better, know that I'm investing in myself, versus saying, oh, for this oga to give me this work, this person doesn't like me. The response for this person doesn't like me shows that you have already shut down your mind to the aspect or the possibility of growth, and you feel like it's something that is a burden. Somebody wants to attack you. Somebody wants to do something wrong to you. So the level to which we interpret stress, some things might be good for some people, some things might be bad. What are the things that affect it? The belief system and how you interpret the event. If you are on good terms with your boss, you wouldn't see more work as being malicious towards you. You won't see more work as somebody trying to, get at you to offend you or to make you feel bad about yourself. Moving on. So this page is just trying to show us several levels. I've been saying since, what level can we overcome stress and all of that? So the first level we have is the alarm phase. What happens is we are exposed to little stress. It is I don't know if you can see the cursor. I'm just trying to highlight on the screen. If you can see the cursor, that would be great. So this alarm phase shows, this is a short-term thing. It's not something that is happening for a longer period of time. So what happens in the alarm phase is, flight or flight, adrenaline is secreted. That is our coping mechanism for stress. So adrenaline is secreted, fight or flight, such like, oh, a lion or a snake comes into the room. You might feel like you don't have energy to run, but I tell you, the energy will come from nowhere and you'll be able to run to escape. That is fight or flight. Or if you feel that you can handle the situation, say somebody wants to beat you and you're bigger and fit, you're more fit to beat the person. You wouldn't run away, you wait. But if there's a lion in your room, you would have to find a means of escape. So fight or flight is elicited. It could last for an hour, it could last shorter than an hour. In these situations, what happens is that your heart races so fast, the heart is pumping faster to give blood to the brain, to give blood to the muscles, and then blood, oxygen is carried into, like with the blood in the blood cells, so that every part of your body is ready. It's the same thing like a person who wants to run a short distance race. The muscles, the mind, everything is prepared to move at a sprinting mode, such that you want to be the first or within the first three of whatever sprinters for maybe say 100-meter race. So the nervous system goes all out on high alert. Everything is fired up. Your eyes are seeing clearly because you're looking for a means of escape. So when you have a lion in the room, that's not the time to wonder, am I seeing the path to which I will escape? No, everything is on 100% full mode for you to escape. And then all other bodily functions shuts down. Well, for some people, you might say tension will make them feel like going to the toilet. It's just an anxiety response. Most times you don't feel like, oh, this is the time I want to eat, or this is the time I want to digest my food. Everything is just on, let's move as quick as we can to overcome this situation. So that's the alarm phase. It's usually short term. It doesn't last for so long. Sometimes the effect is seen for an hour, and then afterwards your body comes back and you're like, oh, was I the one that ran so much like that? I can't believe I could do this and all of that. You see, for some instances, say a burning building, people jump down from the building. They can't believe they jumped. In the initial stage, within that first 1 hour, they don't feel like there's any pain in their body because adrenaline is so much secreted in the body. But the moment this 1 hour has passed, adrenaline is worn out of the system. They now begin to feel pain in certain areas. Maybe they broke their leg or something like that. So the next phase is the resistance phase. In the resistance phase, cortisol starts to build up on the outlook, like your body is just trying to look for ways. Let me give you an example. Say, for instance, somebody is trying to lose weight, and the person feels that the means to which he or she wants to lose weight is to start starving themselves. Now, that is not a very good approach, as much as sometimes for some people, intermittent fasting might work, but you have to know your body. So what do I mean with this example? You feel like, oh, you want to lose weight, you are now starving yourself. What happens is, for some people, they'll feel like, oh, since I eat once a day, I can eat a mountain bowl of food. But why am I getting fat? Why am I getting fat despite eating once a day? It's because cortisol has already been released. That's a short-term stress mode. Cortisol has been released in the body such that the body is in saving mode. Cortisol is like, we don't know when this next food will be. Let's not release everything. That's what happens for most people that try to lose weight and you starve yourself or you skip meals. We don't know what is going on. We don't know what the next meal will be. So rather than burn up the food you're eating, your body will rather save and save and save. So if the person doesn't know that the trick to it is reducing the amount of food you eat despite starving yourself, then the weight loss might not work. So it's looking out for, we don't know when next we'll be suffering like this for no food. That's the lookout for additional threats. So the parasympathetic system starts to return most of your body to its pre-stress levels at this resistance phase. It's like you're trying to overcome the stress. So these are people that, versus somebody who is coming to Lagos for the first time and somebody who has been in Lagos for 10 years. The person who is coming to Lagos for the first time, who is coming from, say, somewhere like Katsina or Kaduna or a calmer place, or, you know, a place that is not so busy, so loud, the person can cope. The person cannot cope, really, versus the person that has stayed in Lagos for a while. Even if the person relocated from the UK, person will know how to, you know, cross the road in a zigzag direction. The person will know how to jump from bus to bus and all those other things, because the body has found a way to return to the pre-stress mode, not because the stressor has been removed completely, but because the body is adapting. That's the resistance phase. So it diverts some resources for the next threat. It's just trying to save up energy, save up resources, such that, you know, the next threat, when it comes up, you are not very sure what will happen, but you want to prepare yourself. So in this phase, this is when you see that certain people are frustrated, they are not easily focused, they are getting distracted, they are irritable, they can be irritated at any point. So for the exhaustion phase, this is when you experience burnout. This is the point where a lot of people give up, because number one, your body has tried everything possible to undo or overcome these stressors. But, you know, the body cannot do it anymore. The body is not made of steel. So there is a breaking limit for every individual. And then there's decreased stress tolerance. So you might feel like, this person has been enduring all this, you know, bad things in the workplace. Why are you just snapping at every little thing this time around? It's because the person has gotten to the exhaustion phase. At this phase, the stressor has been on for so long, the body does not have enough capacity to overcome that stressor. And the person feels mentally drained, physically tired, the person feels emotionally down. There can be hopelessness, anxiety, in some extreme cases, depression. And then when I said the other time that, you know, prolonged exposure to this stress can, in fact, impact somebody's health and cause a lot of chronic diseases, high blood pressure can come in as a result. What's the correlation? Cortisol does not make you burn fats. You have excess fats in the system, fat in the blood cells. The vessels are pumping higher because there's fat clogging the blood cells. That is where hypertension comes to play. That's the high blood pressure. There's weakening the immune system, because when you're stressed, your body loses a lot of, you know, immunity. So many vitamins are depleted, so many things are not going right. And then in the end, the person might be, you know, falling in and out of the hospital because of stress. Chronic illness sets in. Let's move from this. So stress can be beneficial in some instances. Like I gave the example of a boss giving somebody, you know, a task to improve their performance and improve their overall productivity as a boss to a staff. Maybe it might be a means of encouraging. So there can be good stress. Ill stress, this refers to positive stress, you know, that is usually short-term, and it can motivate a person to be better. So this type of stress, or the amount of stress, is such that produces growth, and it is such that your body can easily overcome. Any individual can overcome it. Oh, it's just for a short while. We have to go to work every morning, say 6 a.m. to just meet up with a deadline or meet up with a particular task at hand. But then when you have the negative stress, that is distress. This is like an excessive amount of stress, things that lead to the exhaustion phase in the previous page, you know, that there's an excessive amount of stress that, you know, can be short-term or long-term. But this stress is so great that the person cannot overcome it, and it impacts the person's health over time. So if it is going on for so long, it impacts a person's health. Now, for this stress curve, is just trying to show how, you know, from green to red, something happens. Well, for some people, too little stress might not encourage them to do better. This is where the lower part of this curve is showing that some people are inactive, some people are laid back, they are just comfortable in their comfort zone, they're not being pushed to do so much. But then when you get to the place of huge stress, yes, you might feel tired, but this is an optimum stress that your body can overcome. And then when you go beyond what your body can overcome, that is when fatigue, easy tiredness comes in. Then it goes on for too long. That's too much stress that causes exhaustion. And then, you know, on the red line, you see that there's panic, there's anxiety, there's depression, the person breaks down, chronic illnesses come to be because the stress level is already too much for the body to handle. So what are the causes of stress and what are the categories of stressors? I said that there are certain things that cause stress that are called stressors. So anything that can cause stress to be increased, say for instance, increased demand at work, somebody threatens somebody on the phone, or maybe social media bullying, challenges at the workplace, challenges in the finances, challenges in the family, worry of whatever kind. Those things can be stressors. But then there are different categories to stressors. I said it before that there can be physical stressors, sometimes chemical, sometimes social. So we'll be taking that one after the other. So there are physical stressors. Physical stressors are like, things that affect the body directly, if you permit me to put it that way. Inadequate sleep affects your body over time. If you don't rest well, your body would feel it that there was no adequate sleep. Overworking as a result of, working too long hours, working late into the night, not adequate sleep would affect your physical health. Noise, for some people, they are very sensitive to noise. They don't like noise. Too bright light or too dim light, as the case may be. Some people like bright light, some people like dim lights. But if you are the type of person that likes to work, that feels very alert in a very brightly lit up space, now when you have a dim light, it makes you feel down and low, like, oh, I'm not feeling this. That can be a stressor, because it ultimately affects your body and affects your mind, if we remember the definition of stressors. Now, excessive exercise. For certain people that have the goal of bodybuilding and all of that, if they do it too much, the body does not rest. Even your trainers will tell you to give time for your muscles to heal. So those things can impact the physical health of a person. Long commuting on the road, Lagos and traffic, that can be a stressor for most people. Inadequate nutrition. You don't eat well, you're expending so much energy. It is very difficult for you to, give your body the necessary nutrients it needs to do the work better. That's a physical stressor. When people have injuries, people have accidents, they sit down at home for a while, that can be a physical stressor that would, amount to a mental stress. Now, for the social stressors, we have loneliness, threats, poor relationship with people. Maybe the person had a fight with a close friend, and then that relationship is not there anymore. Difficult bosses or poor relationship with the boss. You have spouses that are maybe troublesome, difficult neighbors or colleagues. And then for some people, some technology or some applications can be so difficult for them to understand. That can be frustrating. And for other people, they have friends or family members that don't respect that you are at work and you have to be serious at work and focus. So they call you for unnecessary things. They send text message for unnecessary things, not recognizing your work hour. Those things can be social stressors, because these people are people you interact with for your social health. Now there's the emotional stressors or the psychological stressors, loss of a loved one, death of a relative, loss of a job. Person might be wondering, how would I survive? How would I feed my family? Inability to forgive people. That can be a very negatively impacting thing for one's health. I mean, if there is anyone who doesn't know that, or people who don't forgive easily, please just tell them to try to forgive people, because it has a negative impact on your health. Grief, worry, anxiety, separation from family. I told you that some good events can be stressful for certain people. So having a good baby, having a new baby is a good thing. Having a child is a good thing. But for certain people, the amount of stress it causes on their body affects their psychology and their emotions, such that they fall into depression. Those are the things like maternal blues. Being in debt, having increased financial responsibilities can be stressful. That's a psychological stressor. For your workplace, if there's overwhelming work load, job insecurity, if somebody stayed in the same location or the same level for so long, you might feel frustrated that I do my work. Why am I not promoted? All of those things can cause it. So for the chemical stressors, it might be substances we expose ourselves to. As simple as sugary things are, some people get so used to excessive sugar such that they cannot do without it. If you take it away from them, you might think it will be a coffee addiction or an alcohol addiction or drug addiction for certain people. So there are different levels of addictions. Some food additives, which are not healthy, can over time, affect your health in one way or another. And they are chemical stressors. They are thermal stressors. For somebody who is used to Nigerian weather, goes to somewhere like Antarctica, which is like an extremely cold continent, the person might not be able to cope. The person might be physically stressed, mentally stressed, wondering, why am I here? I don't like cold, I can't cope, and all of that. And vice versa, for people that are used to cold climates, coming to a very hot place, say like Nigeria or any African country, sometimes can be a stressor also. So moving on, we're going into the stress management proper, but then this picture just tries to summarize what the stress management will involve. It involves, looking for things or activities that would help you distress, be it exercise, be it relaxation things, meditation, spending time with yourself, your friends, picking up a hobby, chatting with your friends, or speaking to a health professional, as the case may be. So stress management is very important because we live in a fast-paced world. If we remember how our grandfathers and great-grandfathers grew up, I mean, I'm younger than most people on this call, so permit me to just use this example. They will tell you how their life was, really at a pace whereby they know their routine daily. You go to the farm, you come back, you do your chores, there's time for family bonding, moonlight stories, and all of that. But all of that is not applicable. Now we live in a digitalized age. We live in a fast-paced world such that people are busier. They have less times for themselves and their families. They have less times for sleep. Depression is on the increase because I told you when the stressor goes for so long, it can impact your emotional or physical or mental health. And then it's also like important to know that, when we do this stress management stuff, it helps people to overcome stress. It helps people to, ensure that their lives are happier and they know how to manage their stress and prevent the long-term effects like chronic illnesses that might lead to, reduced survival limits and eventually death in some instances. We can combat that and remove that from the equation when we know how to manage our stress. So stress management technique ranges from relaxation techniques to exercise, adequate nutrition, sufficient rest, goal setting, amongst others. So we'll be going into that quickly. So part of the stress management techniques, let's take, for example, a relaxation technique. A relaxation technique can be simple meditation. You sit down with maybe somebody saying something, positive words, and then you just sink it in. I am valuable. I am loved. Things like that. For some people, it works. For other people, it could be deep breathing exercises. And you can never go wrong with deep breathing. Just take deep breaths in, out, 10 times. You feel relaxed. It works. For other people, the muscles are so tense that the stress is really giving them physical pain. So they might need to have massage. And for other people, they just need an environment that is just like a safe space for them. So they might consider aromatherapy. Aromatherapy involves using, things that have scents, be it, what do you call it now? Be it plant-based additives or something like that, or perfume oils, lavender oils, just to help put in a diffuser and make your environment smell good, to make you feel good about yourself. For other people, exercise activities, be it, the high intensity, quick aerobic exercises like swimming, running, cycling, or softer exercises that don't really take your breath away, like walking, which is very good for older people, just to help you, keep your cardiovascular system in check. You can take walk for 30 minutes. You can do some stretching if you like. You can do some yoga or just, some quiet, simple exercises here and there. Because, overworking and doing too much exercise is a physical stressor, if we remember in the previous line. Now, for nutrition, it has been proven that when people can eat right, eat balanced meals, they can prevent diseases, they can have an overall better mental health, and they can also, have their physical health in 100% optimum functionality. What do I mean that by a balanced meal? It should contain at least the 6 to 7 classes of food, water, fats and oil, protein, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and then the 7th one that we forget, roughages of fiber. So things that give you fiber, vegetables, be it freshly chopped carrots with cucumbers, be it steamed vegetables or freshly cut vegetables like the lettuce, the broccoli, whatever works for you. It could be fruit salad also, just to keep fiber in. It could be the English pear. It could be, things like potato, which are like carbohydrate classes, but also rich in fiber, just to help, a balanced meal. And portion control for some people, depending on the health need, Drinking water. So it's been proven that when people are dehydrated, sometimes part of the symptoms you have is this headache and exhaustion, and you might feel like it's stress. So sometimes I tell people, when you feel like you have a headache, start by taking a cup of water. If that doesn't work, then you check, when last did you eat? Then have a meal before you use things like paracetamol. Paracetamol or several other strong medications are not the fix for your headache. You need to be sure that you have drunk enough water. So for adult male, 3 to 5 liters. For adult female, depending on how you take water or other forms of liquid, say tea, yogurt, fruit juices, freshly squeezed juice. Everything culminates to taking in fluids to stay hydrated. So at least 3 liters. You can measure it. You can just decide to measure it. You take a small table water, and then you just estimate, okay, so I've drank like 6 table waters today. You have achieved your 3 liters for the day. Some people take the bigger jugs that are, timed 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You drank 1 liter or 500 mils, depending on what it is. It's just good to stay hydrated because it can help you reduce your stress as much as possible. Reducing processed foods. This is very important because processed foods are not the best, ideal, healthy meals. And some of them can cause illnesses and diseases for people, because they're not rich in fiber. A lot of these things are stripped off. So the way they are digested, the way they are excreted is very difficult, and they can have to, increase blood sugar levels, increase blood fat levels. That's the cholesterol and the likes. Some people like coffee every day. Let's try to tone down coffee as we grow older in life, because coffee can be a good thing and can be a bad thing. Caffeine addiction is real, so these things, making sure that there's a balance helps us. Dietary supplements where needed. When you grow older, you need certain dietary supplements because you might not be taking enough. Say, for instance, your doctor tells you, oh, don't eat meat anymore, don't eat too much egg and all of that. So certain vitamins and minerals that will be gotten from these meals that you have to stay away from can be added to your diet in form of supplements, say calcium supplements, vitamin B supplements, vitamin C supplements if you don't have ulcer, and some other supplements like selenium and magnesium that are good for brain health. So sufficient rest. We cannot overemphasize rest in Lagos State. A lot of people are stressed in Lagos. A lot of people are, too busy to rest. So what you can do, we advise 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But certain times I tell people, if you can take naps in between the day, it helps you add up to your 8 hours. Because some people will be on the road for several hours and then they get home late and they're telling you they're sleeping from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. or from 12 a.m. rather, pardon me, to 4 a.m. That's like 4 hours. So if you had naps like at 2 or 3 different times in the day, that culminates another 2 hours, you have still fulfilled your 6 hours for the day, depending on how busy you are. But just make sure that you give your body that time. Take short breaks during the day. Some people sit for so long, which is not a healthy thing, especially if they have heart conditions like, hyperlipidemia or dyslipidemia. What does that mean? Too much cholesterol in the blood. You don't want your blood to, clot or form a thrombus or an embolus, such to say. So I encourage people, don't sit for so long, say for 2 hours at a stretch. No, try to find breaks of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, move about. Even for some people that have, swellings in their feet for one reason or another because of sitting in a place for so long, you can actually try that method of taking breaks. Before it's 2 hours that you sat at a stretch, stand up, move about, 3 minutes, come back to your seat, continue your work. It really helps. I hope you are still with me so far, and I hope I'm not boring anybody and I'm not being
we
too
are with
fast.
you.
Thank you very much. So this picture just shows like
I
activities.
encourage people to type as response to her so that she will
What
know
did you
she's
say,
not.
ma'am?
I said I expect people to type response
Okay, in the
on
chat
the
box.
chat.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I said earlier, physical activities like okay, I can see the charts now. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Babalola. It's in the chat. So I can, activities that reduce stress, be it yoga, meditation, like I said earlier. For certain people, dancing can be an aerobic exercise and it can really work. If you enjoy dancing, please dance. If you can skip, do that. But as we go older, like I've said, walking is a very, very good form, of exercise. Cycling, if you know how to cycle, those are like the examples that we have. Okay, moving on. So sorry. Okay, so stress management techniques too. Apart from those ones I've mentioned, the nutrition, the water, and all of that, you can break down your tasks into simpler goals. Goals such that you are able to achieve within a specific time. They say make your goals smart, they are specific, they are measurable, they're achievable, they are time bound, and there are things that you can do. So I have a task at hand. It's going to last for 6 weeks. What can I do each week that will make the bulk of my tasks covered, in a shorter, achievable time, so that I'm not just being worried about 10 things at the same time. It's something that we can do. So break down these goals. Go back to your scoreboard. Okay, so I was going to achieve this and this and this at the end of this week, but I was able to just do 1 or 2 out of it. Well, reward yourself for doing that, because certain people don't even keep to their goals in the first place. And then at the end of the day, it helps you see where you are lacking behind and where you can, cover up. So such the way, it helps an individual, cover up and all of that. So that way, goal setting is a major way to break down your tasks and reduce your stress levels. Journaling is another thing. It doesn't have to be so complex. You can get a big notebook, write in some particular happenings of your day. So in the morning, I went to work early, but I was delayed because of traffic, because of this, because of that. It helps you put in your day into perspective, such that you can track the emotions you have. When you keep a journal, it prevents all this stress being built up. Sometimes certain people don't understand us and they don't know how we feel at certain times. Even most times we don't understand ourselves as individuals. There are certain things that will put us in another mood and you're wondering, why did I even react this way? But when you keep a journal, when you write down things, for me, I type it on my phone. I send myself a WhatsApp message. There's a way to send a WhatsApp message that says your name and then you in bracket. And I tell myself, oh, so and so person upset me today. Oh, this was what I did at work today. All of those things. When I go back and I read it, I just laugh at myself and I'm like, you overreacted in this place. Okay, so these are people that you should avoid or be mindful of, when you're working with them in the hospital. Be mindful of what they do, because they might try to, upset you at some point. So journaling is very important, not just for, spiritual people or something like that, but I mean, for everybody. Even the pagans use it to just track progress. Put into account your emotions. Write it in a way that you want to tell a friend that does not understand you. Write it in a way like a letter. Oh, so today I was feeling down because so and so persons did this. My car did not start on time. I got late to work and then my boss embarrassed me. I felt a bit down because I tried my best to get to work, but I'm trying to get over it. So what do you now do the next time? You check all the other things. Okay, so what have I done today? So when you keep a journal, you effectively know how to manage your emotions. You can recognize the things that would put you at a place of perpetual stress. And you can also recognize the patterns, that would get you off, or the patterns that will put you on the right track. So journaling cannot be overemphasized. If we don't keep journals, I will encourage us to keep it today, or imbibe the habits that I do, which is send yourself a WhatsApp message, because everybody can use WhatsApp at every time. Now, proactive communication. Sometimes some people don't know that certain subtle things that they do, things that they meant no harm, would affect us in one way or another and add to the stressful circumstances of our lives. So if you're not able to express yourself, if you're not able to talk to people, if you're not able to tell them, what you did hurts me, this and this and this you said puts me in a very bad light. Can you please try to improve that next time? And make sure that whoever you're being proactively communicating with, or whoever you're doing proactive communication with rather, is somebody that understands. If the person does not understand, find a way to put it together or find examples. So sometimes certain people don't know what they do. But when you give an example, say like a storytelling thing, how would you okay, let me give this example, please. Can you imagine a particular parent put the child out in the rain? It was raining on that day and the mother locked the child out and the child was without a top. And then you ask the person, how does that feel? Person will say, oh, that's very wicked. Why would somebody put a child through that kind of stress? You know, the rain is cold, the child didn't even have any covering and all of that. And then you can relate it to how that person made you feel. That, well, if you feel that, you know, a child in the rain is not a good thing, you being my close friend saying this about me in front of A, B, and C made me feel like you abandoned me or you put me out there, you know, for people to attack and all of that. The person will be able to relate that, oh, that was a bad move. Nothing intended, you know, malicious towards you, but I was able to get the picture better with the analogy. So sometimes use examples if they don't understand. Because if you talk in the heat of the moment, they will not understand you. They can misunderstand you many times. Moving on, effective time management. You know, when you break down your goals, you can make them time bound. You specify that, oh, I want to use 2 days to do this. I want to use 5 days to do this. I want to use 1 week to achieve this. So that time helps you organize. It helps you do a to-do list. Okay, what are the most important things to be sorted out first? What are the things that are less important but still will make my project a very good success? You do all of those things and put them together. Okay, so you can delegate, please. Everybody needs to learn to delegate in this life. As a leader, as a parent, as a spouse, learn to delegate. You cannot do it all. Your body is not made of steel. I will say that again. Please learn to delegate. Delegation helps other people that you feel like, oh, they might not really know how to do it. Gives them a chance to also grow. Gives them a chance to be better, such that overall, you can just oversee and it makes your work easier for you. When you are able to give people opportunity, you know, to do certain things, and then you will just do the supervisory role and you don't have to do everything at the same time, such that in the end, you are managing your stress. Learn to say no to stress-inducing requests. At whatever age or, you know, place we find ourselves, we can be polite in saying no. It doesn't have to come off as a bad thing. It just shows that you honor yourself as an individual, you honor your body such that you know, this one, I can't do it. I am so sorry. I would have to say no. Please, can you, and you can suggest to such people, so you're not leaving them hanging, give them a solution to their problem. Can you try giving it to this person? Can you try sharing this task amongst A and B? It would work for us in the long run. So be a team player, but also learn to say no to stress-inducing requests and learn to, you know, effectively communicate. If it's your boss, try to make your boss see reasons. Don't just say no in front of every other person. You should have had a backdoor conversation so that the person understands when you say no, this is what it means. Seek professional help. You know, people think that, oh, going to a therapist or a mental health professional or a counselor is just for people that have extreme problems, say depression, psychosis, people that are going through divorce. No, sometimes we just need somebody to talk to, and you'll be surprised how much it can really help you, you know, clear the cobwebs and sort out your thoughts when you have somebody else who is trained in this specialty to help you navigate these things. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this picture is just trying to put everything together. So I tried to focus on the one at work. You know, if you don't get sufficient sleep, you are not able to function well. Work. If you feel like, oh, the work is getting to this place and you can't take it no more, just take 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Deep breaths. You count it 1, very deep, in, out, 2 to 10. You'll feel better. Regular meditation. Not everybody might do this, but you know, it helps to just reflect on certain things and just try to think of how to make your work easier. Like I said, we shouldn't be sitting for too long. So stand up and stretch your hands, stretch your legs, move your body, you know, relax. Make sure your sitting chair is comfortable for you. So many people come down with back pain, chronic back pain as a result of their sitting chair. Or you get to see a physiotherapist or get a lumbar rope, because when you have so much tension with your sitting environment, it affects you that your health or your work cannot be very productive in some instances. Regular exercise. Laughing is good medicine. Please laugh. It releases the good, feel-good hormones, the endorphins are released, and then it helps you reduce stress. And always talk to somebody. You should always have somebody you can talk to at your workplace, because I know most of us are working at different ministries and all of that. So it makes sense to just highlight this in form of a picture. So what are the benefits of stress management?
Group are retirees. They are retirees.
They're retirees. Oh.
They're all retirees.
Oh,
Most
that
of them.
information.
Yeah.
But okay, thank you for that information. Retirees too, can help reduce their stress because for some people, they have their grandchildren coming for holidays and all of that. It can be overwhelming. So there's always a way to put this lesson to use. Thank you, ma'am. So health benefits of stress. We have several benefits. Stress can benefit an economy at large. It can benefit an organization. It can benefit people at work. It can benefit individuals. So for the health benefits, like I said earlier, when there's less stress, there is not much chances for diseases. If certain people are on medications before now, they can reduce their medication as much as possible. Of course, confirming with their doctors that those medications need to be reduced. There's improved sleep, decreased anxiety, reduced pain, because sometimes some mental stress can give you physical pain. And then they have a better ability to relax, basically. And then you also have like a sense of control. You feel like, oh, I have control over my time. I have control over my life. I don't feel like so many things are going on at the same time and I don't understand it. There's also improved self-esteem. Overall health, when you feel good about yourself, you would really help, improve your self-esteem. So for business or for the work, certain people at the workplace, even if it's your own employee, you'll be able to understand that when they are less stressed, they can function better. Your helpers, maybe at your shop or your company or whatever it is, then they don't have to be so absent from work because they have to be in the hospital all the time or they feel so depressed they can't stand up in the day. You don't have to spend so much money, or even their salaries or whatever compensation that comes to them does not have to go to, treating illnesses or certain accidents, because some accidents are caused by absent-mindedness and being, overloaded in the mind. So the mental stress can also, make a person make a mistake and cause accidents in some instances. But when these stress management levels are, put to use, we can always avoid all of these things and everybody has a win-win situation. For the individual, it's not expensive, it's cost effective for you to actually manage your stress. It's cost effective because you're not having diseases or illnesses. You're not spending money on so many drugs now that drugs are pretty expensive. There's improved reasoning, cognition. Person is able to function better. There's no distraction of whatsoever reason. There's a way that it also impacts or better your relationship with people, be it your neighbors, your family, your children, your workers, whatever it is. And the person is always in a better mood such that, there's no room for chronic illnesses as a result of prolonged stress. Okay, so quickly, we'll just go through the mental health, and I think we'll have just like 3 slides and then we'll entertain questions. So the World Health Organization, don't mind me, I like WHO because I feel like it's a big umbrella for whatever we talk about. We can't go wrong, following WHO guidelines. So the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of diseases or infirmity. What that means is, if I say I'm healthy, and it's just my physical body that is healthy, and I'm having a lot on my mind, or I don't have friends, or I don't have good social, relationship with people, then am I really healthy? The WHO helps you understand that, if one of these ones are not on the balance, if one thing is deficient or if one thing is affected, then you might not say you are really healthy. Because if you're healthy, your physical body is 100%, your mind, your mental state, your emotions are up, they are top notch. And then your social well-being, the way you relate with other people also helps you. So the fact that you don't have diseases doesn't mean that you're completely healthy, according to WHO. Unless you also look inwards and see that you have control over your emotions, you have good relationship with people, which has been proven to help people live long. It's not just, we cut out all the fatty foods, we do exercise, we go to the farm and all of that. Social relationship, you relate with other people. You have seen that studies have seen that people that are lonely, can die fast
I think she's having a challenge with her network. Please, let's just stand by and wait for her. Okay, while we are waiting for her, I think we can just do a quick summary of what we've been listening to. The topic is stress management and mental well-being. And she spoke about, okay, I think she's back.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know
Okay,
what's wrong.
it is the network. Just go
Sorry.
ahead.
So I just want to finish the mental health slide like I was talking about. Sorry for the interruption, please.
Apology accepted.
Thank you. So I was trying to say that, for certain people, the mental health is also important because, like we said, physical stressors, environment. Yes, I was trying to relate it with the environment. That we said that some stressors come from the environment, chemical stressors, be it pollution or what have you, versus physical stressors that can also impact the health of a person. So if your mind, your spirit, your body, and your interaction with your environment is in balance, it can affect one's mental well-being or disability. But the adjustment of human beings, I think somebody's unmuted, but that's fine. But the adjustment of human beings to their environment that they interact with mentally healthy or mental well-being. Okay. So this is just like showing like the aspects of things that can impact or affect our mental health, both positively and negatively. If we look at it, it cuts across good nutrition for stress management. So all these things go hand in hand. If you're able to control your stress, your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health becomes, 100%, and then the person overall is healthy and living a healthier life. So if you eat well, good nutrition, adequate nutrition, there's a way that, it helps your mental health such that the nutrition that you're giving your body also feeds your mind or the brain, as we believe or we're made to believe. Even if they tell you whatever you're eating, you're feeding your brain also. That's why I said for some people, the excessive sugar and excessive caffeine that ultimately affects one's health, also comes from that part of food. Getting enough sleep versus not getting enough sleep. We have talked about how overworking and little sleep can affect somebody's stress levels, that it will, lead to physical health impairments. It can also affect the mental health of a person, because when you have not had adequate sleep, There's a way that it clouds a person's judgment. There's a way it affects a person's general response. Some people might be irritated, they might be irritated at every point, So that one happens. Activity and exercise. We said part of the ways to manage our stress by, involving in physical exercise or stretching, as the case may be, or walking as a softer part of exercise. Our social life too can affect our mental health, either positively or negatively. Isolation or loneliness, like I said a few minutes ago, versus being sociable or being, people that have other people around, that helps our social life. Managing stress, you see this one comes to play. So they are interwoven. It can affect the mental health. Avoiding, substances like food additives, alcohol, caffeine, smoking, as the case may be, and just leading a healthier life, better about yourself, and even about your outlook to life as a person who is not just selfish to, have everything for me, but when you help other people, there's a way it makes you feel. So studies have also been done about that, that people who are not just focused on solving their own problems, but solve other people's problems, can come to a point whereby they feel that they have a fulfilled life. I'm not saying they feel fulfilled more than people that don't. I'm not saying that, but sometimes, it has given them a positive outlook to life. Asking for help, that's like the option of seeking professional help that we talked about before for stress management. So the factors that can influence somebody's mental health or mental well-being, there are internal factors, there are external factors, there are other factors like the social factor, your lifestyle, those are things that can affect. So internal factor starts within. When you say something is internal, it starts with the individual. So internal factors like genetic predisposition. So there are certain people that maybe they have a pattern of depression in the family. Now, for such persons, it might almost be very difficult, except they have the right knowledge to, find a way whereby at some point they don't feel bad about themselves. They don't feel like, am I even good enough? Simple things like, am I good enough? Are things working for me? Negative talk, catastrophic. It's not about your anxiety, can also impact on one's health. It can come from within, building up a lot of tension on the inside. You don't know what to do with all the person. Positive or negative self-esteem, depending on how you see yourself. If you see yourself in a positive light, you'll feel better about yourself. If you see yourself in a negative light, it can also affect the person's mental well-being, because the person feels like, maybe I shouldn't relate to people, maybe they would see my flaws and all of that. Meanwhile, really, so many people are just not even paying attention. Everybody's just going about their business because one person has one thing or another to deal with. So when we are able to identify these factors, it helps us have a better chance at to boost the positive side the more. So if I take care of myself and tell myself I am worthy, I am good enough and all of that, it improves my self-esteem and it helps me work better. It helps me relate with other people. Then I have a balanced life. Basically, I hope you can still hear me.
Yes, you are
External
audible.
factors. So that's the environment. Okay, thank you, ma'am. The environment, talking about noise for some people, like I said, some people might come from a very quiet, remote area, and then they come to Lagos and you're like, what's going on? I can't cope. Air pollution. In Lagos, we have overcrowding in some areas, living conditions whereby there are too many people. Now, the overcrowding is only for their respiratory health, that there is no ventilation and all of that. But for some people, it might just be that they can't just deal with so many people talking at the same time and doing a lot. So people might tell you they are not able to sleep well. For some people, positive or negative, like I said, can affect positive or negative. Societal pressure for some people can spur them to be better individuals, while for certain other people, it can shut them down so that they feel like, am I the only one? Why has society tried to map out my life for me or something like that? Cultural beliefs also have a way of affecting one's mental health. It is not within us, but it's an external factor that if we let in, can have so much impact. And then overall, that scale of the mental well-being. Family dynamics to whatever that means.
I think we lost her again. Please unmute.
Network has to save me today. I'm almost done
Yeah.
anyways. Sorry for the interruptions. So for certain persons, I said for traumatic stress disorder, because remembering the same trauma over and over can form a particular pattern of illnesses or symptoms, such that the person comes with these same symptoms impacted your life several years ago. So it could be recent stress in ugly end, exposure to violent or disturbing content. I put in brackets COVID-19 news because personally for me, it got to a point that yes, as a health individual, you want to know, especially because you were going to the hospital, but it got to a point that I knew that it was really affecting me negatively. So I made a conscious effort to put off the TV and not care about COVID-19 news until, we were free to move about and all of that. So whatever it means to persons, it could be that articles or news sites or news channels that carry more of negative than uplifting things should be avoided, as the case may be. Social factors for certain persons, social isolation or neglect, be it in old age, younger people, relationship with people. If you have good relationship with friends, if you have good relationship with your neighbors, if you have good relationship with your children, it helps you have a better chance at mental well-being versus somebody who does not have so many people or who are on bad terms with people that matter in their lives. Lifestyle, physical activity, rest, sleep, diet, exercise, your healthy meals. They are all things that can impact one's mental health, either positively or negatively. So this image is just showing things that can affect, because sometimes there is a correlation between the brain, the physical matter, and the mental health. So if the brain is having some form of affectation, like I said before, if we feel like we're having a headache or we feel tired, it could just be that you're not hydrated enough and you need water, versus you need enough sleep, or you're not eating enough meals, or you are skipping meals. It might be that the person is taking too much sugar and the body is just so prone to looking for sugar. So in such cases, there are things that healthy habits we can imbibe, like drinking water every day and keeping track of our water, getting enough sleep, like I said, get enough sunlight, step out in the morning while the air is still clean and the sun is not scorching, to activate vitamin D in the skin. Stay active, take a walk every other day. Don't skip healthy meals, and try to make your meals balanced. Cut down on excessive sugar, practice meditation, manage your stress, like we said, your mental health. What that means is I protect what comes in, because the internal factors can affect, the external factors can also affect me. So you get your mind, then you stay socially engaged. I said it that the people who have good, robust network of people do well in old age, do well over people around them, or people to make them feel good about themselves. Almost rounding up. So mental well-being strategies. Practice self-care. This cannot be overemphasized. Be it young, intermediate, or old. you have to practice self-care. You have to do things that make you feel good about yourself. It's not being selfish. You can only give so much joy that you have on your inside. So if you don't take care of yourself to be able to radiate that good energy to other people, then you're doing other people a disservice also. So prioritize activities that bring you joy, things that make you happy, things that help you relax. That is self-care. It can also translate to physical care. So once in a while, take yourself to the spa, get a massage, or buy yourself something. Just do something rewarding for yourself, basically, because all these things will culminate to making you feel better about yourself, overall mental well-being. Positive self-talk. You tell yourself you are good enough. You tell yourself you're worthy. You tell yourself you are beautiful. You tell yourself all these good things. You tell yourself that you're hardworking. You tell yourself you're a good parent. You know, you tell yourself you're a good grandparent to your grandkids. It makes you feel better about yourself. You tell yourself you're loved. Your social support, nurture relationships with your friends, family. Make sure it's supportive people, because when you're doing the mental well-being journey, it has to be people that are on the same page with you, people that see the same reasons why you are taking certain steps, not people that will say, oh, your own is too much. Are you the only one? No. We want people that understand what you are doing and can also help with that. Mindful communication, like we said in stress management, you have to know how to, communicate with people effectively and tell them your mind, express yourself, express your needs, so that they understand and they're able to respect your decisions also. Self-compassion, practice self-compassion. So many people are hard on themselves. I used to be like that. So treat yourself with kindness and understand yourself. If you have certain shortcomings, understand that you're human too. You're not a superhuman. And sometimes it's okay to, fall short of certain things, but it's also okay to pick yourself up and keep going. That way you have a balanced life. The same way you forgive people, the same way you cut people slack, the same way you give people allowances that maybe he was tired, that's why he didn't do this work. It's the same way you should tell yourself, don't beat yourself up when you fall short of your task. Tell yourself, oh, I understand. And I was tired at this point. That's why I couldn't do this the way I wanted to, but I'll do it better. Practice gratitude. Be thankful for so many things in life. You can write 1 to 2 things you're thankful for. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for good health over my head. For, being able to afford it. Nigeria. All of these things, they are things that will help you stay grounded, help you stay, informed that not all bad. There are things that are going on in life that are good for you. Boundaries, set healthy boundaries. Avoid people that will emotionally drain you. That's what I meant by the avoid emotional parasitic. Pardon me and permit me to use that word. Because I feel like when something is a parasitic relationship, one person is benefiting, another person is not benefiting from it. So we don't want a parasitic relationship, basically. So you set boundaries. When you see certain people out for all you can give and nothing to give in return. I'm not saying physical gifts now, but some people, just want to take from you, take your time, waste your time and all of that. We don't accept that. Even if you're retirees, there are many important things you can do that let people do you. Okay. So this is just like a picture summarizing not very clear. I'm so sorry. Summarizing ways towards your mental well-being, that you try to stay positive. That can be positive affirmations, brightening your outlook or brightening your area of pain, strengthening social connections, people that matter to you, friendships and relationships that give you a better chance at your mental health, reducing. We talked a lot about stress earlier in this presentation. That's very important. Process your emotions. It's okay to ask for help, like I said. So it's not about, oh, I have a problem, that's why I'm having a therapist. No, just somebody to talk to sometimes. Then live in the moment. It doesn't mean you're selfish. Sometimes it's good to just live in the moment. It helps you remember that, oh, for the now, I am doing well, I am okay. Give yourself a pat on the back. So this is a checklist. You can adjust it however you want. I think I can be able to send the soft copy to Mrs. Duro-Dollar so that people can have it. And then you can just, rearrange the checklist to what suits you. Remind yourself to take few breaths every day. Remind yourself to always drink glass of water at least every 1.5 hours so that you can meet up with your 3 to 4 liters mark for the day. But if you have health adjustments, does not want you to drink so much water in certain health conditions, please try to follow according to your doctor's advice. Write down 7 things you're grateful for. It might not be 7, but every day be grateful for something. Light a candle. Sometimes some people like scented candles. That's the aromatherapy. For women, do your hair, brush your hair, men. It helps you feel good. Once something touches your scalp, it lets blood flow circulate. It also helps you feel good about yourself. Grabbing a face mask might be for the women alone, but some men like skincare. So pardon me. That's why I said we can adjust it for male, female, however it works for us. Do some stretches. In place of stretches, you can do taking a quick walk, take a shower, take 5 minutes to organize your day, write down your goals, watch funny videos. It doesn't have to be alpacas alone. Alpacas are like funny animals. But you can watch funny videos of anything that makes you put a smile on your face, because remember, laughing is good for everyone, right? Make yourself a warm drink. It could be a cocoa drink. It could be warm water. It could be warm water with lemon. Whatever works for you. Dance if you want to, and if you like to dance. Dance is friends. It could be texting your friends or what have you. So quickly, we just have like things that can, talking about the brain health, just to broadcast this presentation. We are coming to the end of this presentation. So, affect our health, bad habits that can affect our brain health and ultimately our physical health and mental health. Not sleep enough, we've gone over this. We need being sedentary, about not being active, not getting enough sunlight. I said we need to step out very early in the day while it's still not scorching sun, get vitamin D activated in our bodies. Skipping breakfast is not a healthy habit. Eating excessively sugary things, overeating is not a healthy habit. It has to be balanced. The older we get, eating too much salt is not good for us. Drinking alcohol, smoking in excessive quantity is not good. As much as possible, we can tone it down or avoid them completely if we fall into that category. Lack of socializing or, talking to people. We are all social individuals. We need each other to survive. Very good for us to talk and all of that with people. Chronic stress, lack of stimulating thoughts, amongst other things, are things that can affect us. So, for the good habits, getting enough sleep, staying active and exercising, getting enough sunlight, enough eating of healthy meals, cutting down on sugar, staying hydrated, eating meals that improve our brain health, avoiding alcohol and tobacco, staying socially engaged, managing stress, keeping your mind stimulated, taking naps. Those are the breaks in between the day, and taking care of your health overall. Focusing on important tasks, breaking it down and achieving your tasks are always meditation, relaxation, be it music, be it yoga, be it, perfume in your diffuser to go through the day. All these things help you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention, for your time. Thank you for having me on this presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Odumuye. Your presentation is very, very comprehensive, very educative, very insightful. Thank you so much. And very lucid too. Easy to understand, very, very clear. I wanted to do a recap before, but I don't think that is necessary because you really did a good job. You did a good job. But let me I just want to emphasize one or two things.
Okay.
Number one, talking about physical stress, you mentioned dehydration. And I think in the elderly, most of the time when they are dehydrated, they don't even know. They don't feel thirsty. So I want to encourage us to drink a lot of water, even when we are not thirsty. Let's carry our bottle of
Exactly.
water around, especially in this weather. Let's drink a lot of water. Let's stay hydrated so that we don't feel stressed unnecessarily. And then we forget things a lot at this age now. She mentioned that if you have an headache, first thing you should do is drink water, maybe dehydration. And, it's possible for us that some of us, we did not eat and we won't remember that we've not eaten. She said, if you drink water, you are still feeling the headache, go and eat. These are some of, these are little tips that can keep us healthy. And then I also want to mention loneliness and isolation. I want to reiterate it. In retirement, this is very, very relatable. And just like she advised us, let us endeavor to stay socially connected. It is very important. Let's stay connected. Let us work actively to maintain our relationships. I was somewhere to make a presentation sometimes during the weekend, and somebody asked a question that if a family that the husband retired long time ago and the wife just retired, and that they are always fighting and things like that. I said, well, it is because they are now both at home. Before, they were not seeing each other much. My own advice in that case is that we should just try and understand each other. I don't know if anyone is experiencing such, but I think retirement is another ball game entirely. While you are working is a different thing. Now that you are both at home, you have to learn to tolerate each other more, because this is the time you need each other more. The another thing she spoke about grief. I mean, as elderly, these are the time that losing loved ones, it will be happening. These are basic things of life, things that will naturally happen. These are things we need to come to terms with. And I think that when we come to terms with them, the fact that we could lose loved ones could get sick. Once we come to terms with such things, they will give us less stress when they begin to happen, because these are natural things that will happen. She also mentioned the fact that we should delegate. Some of us, our spouses are sick. They are not strong anymore, and we have a lot to do taking care of them. She mentioned that we should delegate. So please, let's delegate so that we don't feel stressed. And another thing that also caught my attention is journaling. She mentioned the fact that she will journal, and then at the end of the day, she will speak to herself about some of these things. And that makes her feel a lot better. So I want to believe that I took a lot of notes, so I don't know about you. I want to believe that you took notes too. Let's go over those notes and make sure that we imbibe all these things and then stay mentally strong, physically, mentally, and socially. Let's stay strong. So thank you once again, Dr.
Thank
Odumuye,
you.
for
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
presentation. I want to give opportunity for question and answer. If you have a question, you can signify, I will call you, And then Dr. Odumuye, you can look at the chat too in case you see any question.
Okay, ma'am.
If you have any comments,
Questions or
you have an
comments?
experience you want to share with us, the floor is open. Just signify. I will invite you. Yeah, somebody is saying, can we get soft copy? Yes, I'll post soft copy to all our different platforms. Oh, somebody said, your voice is so sweet. That's to the facilitator and listeners' delight.
Thank you.
That's a toast
Thank
to
you
our
very much.
facilitator. That's so sweet. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ayodele. Okay, I think I see a hand.
Yes, and we connect.
Mr. Isaac Olatunde, you can unmute and ask your question. I've enabled the system. You can please unmute now. Please unmute. Okay.
Yeah, it's now true. Okay. Good morning once again, ma, and thank you for this unique privilege. And I want to appreciate our guest speaker today, Dr. Odumuye Demilade. Thank you very much for the impactful and very useful information for us as elderly, as retired people.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, mine is not a question per se, but just to add, or no, not even adding, because I'm not a professional, but just to, as a retired teacher, we usually, after active listening, we try to say one thing that will show you whether we have actually gained something from you. And what I wanted to say is to draw a relationship between issue of stress and the dopamine, which is neurotransmitter, which situates in the brain. And the dopamine books is referred to as a messenger of peace, pleasure, satisfaction, and motivation. And we also learn that it also controls memory, mood, sleep, movement, and other body functions. If stress is a brain, and the dopamine to the brain, as the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 10, which says, the devil has come to live life. Or the stress has come to kill and destroy. It means that it's also in the first life. Therefore, as an adult, consciously and against stress, and also to strengthen the positive that are happening.
Dr. Odumuye, I don't know if you are hearing him. I think his network is very bad.
Oh, is somebody just talking in the background?
Yeah, I am the one speaking. The host.
I know. There's some
you are
noise.
Not very clear. I think your network is breaking.
Oh. Okay. Well, I just want to mention the issue of dopamine, a neurotransmitter in the brain, which helps us. It's an agent of peace, pleasure, satisfaction. And what I'm saying is that we should consciously stimulate this production of dopamine so that it will help us to remove stress and to strengthen even the positive stress in our body.
Okay, sir. See Miss Chularin's hand too, retired permanent secretary. Can we have you, ma'am? Please unmute, ma'am.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
I hope you can hear me. Thank you
very
very
clearly.
much, Mrs. Brodola.
Yes,
thank you, everyone. And thank you, the facilitator. The area I want to come in actually is the one you mentioned, Mrs. Brodola, about the retired couple that were having differences. You know, in the course of one's life, I think it's always good to note your partner's interests. Let me use myself as an example. My husband is a football fan. So in the course of our relationship, I have had to love football, you know. So now that I'm retired, though he's not retired, he's a lawyer does not retire, you know. But whenever he's around, I think we share this interest in football. When he start talking about Arsenal, we start talking about Liverpool, and we, you know, all those things. And it keeps the relationship healthy and sincerely very interesting. So I want to advise us, let us look for what interests our partners and try and work on it. It will make the relationship healthy. You can never be tired of yourself when you have interests that you share. You know, you can always go back to that and bring healthy conversation. That's my point. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, any more contributions? Any more questions? Okay. I think there are no more contributions now. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you to our facilitator. Okay. I'm seeing somebody is signifying. Okay. Okay, maybe that person did it in error. It's no longer there. So I want to say a big thank you to our facilitator once again for the very insightful presentation. On that note, I am going to invite someone. Let me invite someone. Can someone signify to appreciate our facilitator for today before we draw the curtain on the program? Can someone signify to appreciate our facilitator this morning? Okay, I'm going to invite Mrs. Sholari. Please, ma, unmute again and just do us the honor of appreciating our beautiful facilitator.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. John.
Go ahead, ma.
PSO. Yeah, thank you. The head of service, the permanent secretary, PSO. The facilitator, all our members that are in the house, of course, the retired permanent secretaries and every other person. I appreciate you all. I want to thank the facilitator, our doctor.
Odumuye.
Dr. Odumuye, thank you very much, madam. In fact, very insightful, very clear, and easily understandable. That is it. And I must sincerely talk the area of journaling. Some of us are very forgetful nowadays that we have to put something down to remember. you have done very well. And especially again, interacting with people, social life. That's a very good one. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Odumuye. God bless you. We appreciate you greatly. And today's workshop is going to be very impactful in our different lives. Thank you very much. And God bless you. Thank you, Mrs. Drodola. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to, on behalf of the head of service and the permanent secretary, public service office, I appreciate all participants on this call. It is because you keep coming back. That is why we keep organizing this program. Thank you so much. Like we always do, I'm going to unmute all of us. Yes, I've enabled the system. Everyone can now unmute to exchange pleasantries. I am excited to be here today. It's been a while. I'm so excited to hear from us. Can we please put on our videos? I want to see your beautiful and lovely faces.
It's good to see
you.
Good to see you again.
Oh, Mr. Oluwanimi, good to see you. It's been a while. Like going
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well done. Thank you for keeping that line. Thank God. Compliments of the season.
Mrs. Sadesomi, you are there?
Yes, ma.
So happy.
Yes, ma. Nice hearing you, ma.
Good to see you.
Yes, ma. Eshe, ma. Happy retirement, ma.
Mo ti
wá ṣe Christmas.
Hello, everyone.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ma.
Maggie,
we miss you. We miss you, Auntie Maggie.
Auntie Maggie.
Yes,
Mrs. Shola.
Compliments of the season to every one of us. We thank God.
All right, so Mrs. Jola, show. God bless
There is
you.
another Odumuye here. Is this your mom? You look alike. Eh?
It was our pleasure.
My mom.
Yeah, Mrs. Kumbi Odumuye. Unmute, ma. We can't hear you.
Good morning, Mrs. $0.
Yeah, she's my mom.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, I can see the. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Giving us a beautiful lady like her.
Yes.
You did so well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
I like your gap teeth, ma. Just like my own.
Mommy Shalari.
Mommy
Shalari, Mrs. Babatunde, greeting.
God bless you. Thank you.
Hello, ma.
Good to see you.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning, my sister.
Good to see you, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Mrs. Adekoye.
Yes, Mrs. Adekoye. No one be.
Mrs. Shelly Ogboye.
Joko, how are you?
Fine, Sherry.
Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear your voice. So.
How we practice social connection.
How
Even
is the
when we
family?
cannot see each other physically, we are doing digitally. We are
Talk
doing
to
it.
you later.
For now.
That's why I want you to pray. Father, release upon me wisdom.
No. Okay. So let's draw the curtain on this program.
Thank you, madam.
For today, this will be the last for the year.
Merry
And the
Christmas
next
in advance.
should have been on Christmas Day. We can't have webinar on Christmas Day. So let me use this opportunity.
We will be busy eating our chicken.
To wish us a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. From
Thank you
all of
very
us here,
much. Wish you the same.
the Office of the Head of
Bye.
Service, Public Service Office. Thank you for your participation throughout the year. We really appreciate you. And we thank you because we know that you have been putting into practice everything that you have been learning. I can feel it. I interact with some of us and I know that we are doing very well. It's a delight to us. And our prayer is that this year we end well for all of us. Our lives will not end with this year.
Amen.
See each other next year by His grace.
Amen.
This webinar we continue. So once again, I want to say thank you. And to our facilitator once again, Miss Dr. Mrs. O. We should be Miss now.
Miss.
Dr. Miss Odumuye. Thank you so much. We are glad to